Man United write the jokes themselves, saying that Mohamed Salah will be reincarnated in Bryan and Mbueomo. Lads, have we lost the plot? They are saying that according to data analysts, this indicates that the closest thing they've seen to Salah is Bryan Mbueomo. Lads, this comment right here basically sums it up. The closest thing to the sun is still 36 miles away, lads. That is the truth. Okay, Mbueomo might have some similarities to Salah, but it does not mean he is the next Salah. I guarantee you that Bryan Mbueomo will never win a Premier League title and will never have a golden boot, which Salah has both achieved, lads. So, this is absolutely hilarious, man. Hilarious. That's like saying, oh yeah, I just, found a random girl at the bar. She's a 3, and now she's going to be the next Sydney Sweeney, just because they're both white. That's basically what Man United are saying. That's absolutely ridiculous right there. At the end of the day, Mohamed Salah, he came from, Roma for around 30-40 million. And he became, an absolute star. Bryan Mbueomo has gone for almost double of Mohamed Salah. And he has not fit the shoes, I'll tell you that much. Because you're going into a situation which is a tremendously bad situation of Man United. And you honestly have all the cards against you. One went from, Roma to playing with Jurgen Klopp. The other one went from, Thomas Frank to, going to Ruben Amorim. So at the end of the day, you went from a mid-table club in the English Premier League to a team that's even lower to that Premier League club. So I'm not sure where they're getting at if this is the next Mohamed Salah, because at the end of the day, they play differently as well. And if you check the stats, Mohamed Salah, look at these stats: 29 goals, 18 goals, 19, 23, 22, and he's always having double-digit assists. That's the crazy part. 18 assists, 29 goals at the age of 32, 33 years old. That's absolutely ridiculous. And then you check his Roma stats: 15 goals, 11 assists, and he was playing on the wing. Bryan Mbueomo played, as a striker for Brentford, with Wisa, and he had 20 goals, 7 assists. At the end of the day, the best version of Bryan Mbueomo is still not as good as the worst version of Salah. And I don't know how that correlates with any data that Bryan Mbueomo is the next Mohamed Salah. That makes no absolute sense whatsoever. Mohamed Salah, if it wasn't for the Ronaldo and Messi, era, would have had a Ballon d'Oro. He quite literally, if he would have beat PSG, there's a take, because PSG ends up winning the Champions League. If that penalty shootout goes the other way and Liverpool win the Champions League, Mohamed Salah would, in fact, have a Ballon d'Oro. Bryan Mbueomo will never be in a conversation for a Ballon d'Oro, especially going to Man United. How do you think a 15th place team is going to have the next Mohamed Salah? It's no correlation, lads. No correlations. I'm telling you, Man United, ever since they went to Ineos, they just flat out just dropped. At least the Glazers, at the end of the day, bought world-class players with world-class money. Paul Pogba was a world-class player. They kept David De Gea there. They didn't replace him. As well, they brought in Cristiano Ronaldo. They brought in world-class talent with world-class money. Man United now, with new ownership, is spending world-class money for mid-table clubs. That's the matter of fact. And not only that, they're making budget cuts with the staff. Kit Man can't have a sandwich. Kit Man's barbecue is put on hold. Kit Man is starving. Meanwhile, you're paying Rashford to play for Barcelona. That's where Man United's at. So this data analysis is coming from a team that was projected to be finishing in the top 6 and finish 15th. So don't even think about that, man. But anyways, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Do you think Mbueomo is the next Salah, or do you think that is foolishness?